It's really interesting that I think women's collaborations are more exciting than men's.
When you go into a business that's really established, that's a really difficult thing to do because people are like, who is this girl? Hi guys, I'm Steph, founder of Women in Sneakers.
Hello guys, I'm Julia and I'm the founder of Sneakers by Women.
We're here today with eBay Collectors to present to you Soul to Soul.
So today we're going to have a conversation about the sneaker industry and women's impact within it. How important is it for brands to focus on inclusivity and representation of women in their campaigns?
Oh my gosh, representation and inclusivity is a huge thing for me. There's been many a time where I personally have been the only person that looks like me in the room. And I think that can be really daunting for some people. I think for me, it was my superpower because I really liked taking people off guard when they're like, who's this girl? Like, I'm the person that's like running the meeting or like owning it and being like, actually, you guys are going to do this, this, and this. And then they're like, oh, she actually knows her stuff, like, which I think is really, like, for me, really refreshing. And it's kind of like flipping that narrative on its head. So I think for me, to have inclusivity is really important because I think you should see more people that look like you in the rooms and in the decision-making rooms, because I think there's so many brands doing campaigns about people that look like me, but actually in the head office, there's no one that looks like me. So what your values and ideals are within brands, not just on the outside, but also on the inside, is really important. What is it about sneakers that made you realize that you wanted to make an impact on the community?
I think it was very early on when I started Sneakers by Women, where I just started it as like a pastime kind of blog thing, looking into women in footwear. And then I got messages that were like, yeah, this is so needed and we've never had this before. And I was like, wow, this is clearly like a much bigger thing. And I was like, well, we've definitely got a lot of work to do. And yeah, it was so funny that we literally both started on the same day.
At the same time, which is so crazy. And I really love that for us because we obviously were just like so aligned with what was like missing from the industry with like two different perspectives.
What do you think the next big trend will be in women's sneakers?
Ooh, we were talking about this earlier. I think like, again, it's the more feminine silhouette. So I called it like ballerina core, I think. So I think for me, and again, actually like the Pumas that you've got on right now, like this kind of like silhouette and this kind of shape, the Mary Jane kind of like silhouette. So I think this is definitely going to be more prevalent. And like we saw Asics doing it, we've got Puma bringing them out, we've obviously got like silhouettes like the Nike Rift and stuff too. So I think for me, this kind of silhouette is definitely going to be big, and I really like that it's focused around women and femininity. But even like the adaptation on the shocks that we were saying, so like the Martine Rowe shocks as well, like that kind of like more feminine silhouette being brought in is going to be huge.
It's really interesting that I think women's collaborations are more exciting than men's.
100%.
Like for the first time, I think, like, I mean, I'm very biased, but I think it's generally like there's so much, we're seeing just really good colorways and just like interesting silhouettes and just nothing that we've seen before. Like it's so hard to predict.
How do you navigate kind of staying true to your style when it comes to kind of like sneaker trends and culture?
It is tough, but I think I'm so stingy. I'm so stingy when it comes to buying shoes now. I think because I see the same thing over and over and over again, I think it's easy to avoid it now actually. But I think it can be tough because especially trends move so quickly. But I think, yeah, just gravitating to what I know I'll wear and like really thinking, will I like this in a year's time? And if the answer is yes, then I'll probably wear it. But if not, then yeah, I think it can be tough because there's so many little subcultures now and all these different types of shoes. But yeah, I think just really trying to stay true to what I know I wear.
I was going to get a pair of Rifts and I saw them for a bargain and I was like, I should have, and I forgot to bid on them actually, to be fair. But I was like, I should have got them because they were a bargain. And I was like, and actually all through the summer, I'll rock them because they'll be nice with like skirts, they'll be nice with shorts, and it's just like a nice change to like the usual trends and styles and stuff. So how do you think social media has changed the way women engage with sneaker culture?
It's definitely made them more involved, I think, than ever, and I think it's much less of a male-dominated world now. Like women are more inclined to speak up on social media and just like show what they're doing or things like that. It's made sneakers be like way more like, it's not really that niche anymore. No. And that's how it's like, that's why it's like very like fashiony now. It's not as niche as it used to be, which I think is both a good and a bad thing, I guess.
And I think that's also the thing. I think like people don't like change. And I think when like a niche subculture becomes popular culture, there's obviously going to be some kind of like, people will have gripes with it, people have issue with it, but it doesn't mean that there isn't still that like really core subculture that you can still be a part of. I just think like social media is giving people an opportunity to have experiences. That was Soul to Soul with eBay. Make sure you like, share and subscribe. Let us know in the comments who you would like to see on the show next.